The G center, also known as the identity. Um, it's what this houses our sense of self, and basically our self's direction, its purpose, and this attracting of the love. It's about love and direction. It's about attracting what you truly need, not always what you desire. And it really is going to be truly what you need. The physical associations, liver and the blood, and this is important because the liver, Moni, the liver has great significance in history, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah. I mean, the liver is everything. The liver is it's like what's cleaning our entire body.
absolutely, and but certain tribes held it in high esteem. I
Mm.
know animals fight over it, so there's
Mm.
something about it that's slightly different. They don't fight over anything else. Um, And so ultimately, this identity that comes into us, I probably better get to the next screen, right?
Did you ever hear that raw quote about the liver and like the G center?
What
It's like
about it?
how the G center, the identity center, it's linked with the liver in our body. And so the liver and the G center, right? It's the center for identity and direction, which is why a drunk who's like toxifying his liver can't make love and he can't find his way home.
Oh, yeah, they never really find their way. You lose your direction. Alcohol makes sure, and plenty of other things make sure you lose your direction. You know what?
Hmm.
I don't know if it's on the next slide, but love and direction are these really big themes. They're not just the two words, they flesh out into a great big story.
The low expression, the blocks for the G center, also known as the identity center, it's hiding authenticity. It stifles the true self to fit in or to gain approval. Self
Mm.
doubt and loss of identity, feeling like an imposter, constantly searching for their core self. Comparison traps, comparing themselves to others, leading to self judgment and criticism.
Yeah, not knowing where you are. See, the thing is, if you have a defined G center, place is everything. If you're in the wrong place, you'll be with the wrong people. That's just a thing, even if it's your husband or your best friend. Um, not that they're bad. It's not you, they won't be wrong an hour later, but if you're in the wrong place, the people and the things in your direction go wrong. And when you have an open identity center, it's literally this sense of I'm still looking for love and direction. Where is the love and direction? And when you talk about love and direction, love powers basically everything, and it powers it right off of the vessel of love. And there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's what the love of humanity and the love of extremes and the love of extremes of humanity, as well as the making it modest, all in one gate. 15, right? And 10 is behavior, love of ourselves, essentially. And so these things are, and 25 is universal love. It's innocence, the love of all things, the catcher for the warrior spirit, to the other side, the almost the priest and the priestess too. And then the love of our body and being now in our body, living now. I just built something in the backyard, and the whole time I loved myself doing the thing. And that was gate 46. There's a lot of stuff. And if you're open identity center, you can't quite tell that you've got that stuff pushing a direction. You don't believe it. The smallest thing can throw you off track and make you think that where am I going? I can't tell who I am and who I am here. So back to place, and place ends up being everything. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, that was really beautiful. I was gonna bring in the, like, the, train car metaphor, right? Whereas,
Hmm.
like, someone within a defined identity, it's like they got that, like, San Francisco streetcar where we're, like, hooked in and, like, we are, like, going on a path and this is where we're going, and we got that ticket and we got that train that we're catching. And with, like, the undefined or the open identity, if that's white or not colored in your human design chart, then it's like I feel it's like they don't have the train ticket already like picked out and they don't know which like train they're going to jump on, right? But that's like the kind of fun because they're like the adventurous ones, and so like waiting for the right train cars because it's like it's inconsistent, and just like
Right.
understanding that if that's like undefined in somebody's chart, that energy of like where am I going and like am I lovable, it can kind of be here and it could not be here and it can be here and it
Am
could
I
not be here.
lovable?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that inconsistency and being okay with like, hey, that energy for somebody with that undefined, it's going to be inconsistent.
absolutely. And when it's again undefined, hooking onto basically it hooks you into your geometry. That's more gate two inside the G center, but the G center itself does that too. And If it's open and undefined, what ends up happening is you could get on the car, it's not already pre-stamped like you said, right? So you can't quite necessarily tell, and it's a problem. So if you got a defined identity center and that same thing happens, it's not so much of a problem. Can't tell where I'm going. Hey, where are you going, Dan? I can't tell. What's it say? It's says over here, but I wasn't sure I was going to do. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter so much. But and bringing it back to life, it matters to the Open Identity Center. And if you come in for a reading, we'll help fix that basically, so that you start seeing the wisdom of it. But moving on.
Yeah, I just had one last little thought
Oh,
that kind of popped through, right? With like the whole like train car metaphor. Then it just like if someone has that like undefined and being in the wrong place, you're with the wrong people. So it's like if you're at the wrong train station, you're gonna get on the wrong train and you're gonna go the wrong way.
yep.
I
And
try to
you're
like
afraid
make
of
it
that.
more tangible.
And you're afraid of that. If you're but actually defined or undefined, you're still potentially afraid of that because you don't know that this is moving along, doing these very specific things that you can experiment with and see. Um, so yeah, we let's get people unafraid of their love and direction,
Yeah,
open or defined. It just doesn't matter.
yeah. All right, I'm reading.
Yep, please.
Cool. So high expression. What a like lovely little pictures. It was like the sad little like Oliver Twists lost before, and now it's like happy, like delightful dancers. I love it. So
Yeah.
high expression of the defined G center. Magnetic authenticity that attracts through genuine self-expression of who they truly are. There's also an unwavering self-knowing, possessing an unshakable confidence in their identity, clear purpose and direction, knowing their life path and destiny with clarity, embodiment for growth, aligns with actions with their desired future selves. There's a journey of self discovery that actively explores who they are at their core, an intentional identity, crafting their identity based on who they aspire to be, and a confidence in being, knowing themselves deeply and expressing it boldly. It's
And
lovely.
confidence in knowing themselves deeply, expressing boldly. So, um, the a healthy G center defined, the high expression. I know who I am, no matter what the circumstance. I know who I am, and and I know who I am. So think about the person who's just they're aware and it's just not doesn't bother them, and other people see that, and then suddenly if they have an open G center, it's like, why don't I know where I am? Why don't
Mm.
I know who I am? And so these are senses that happen in the person, and each individual.
Healing defined G center blocks. Authenticity is contagious. By embracing my true self, I inspire others to do the same, creating a magnetic energy. Like that's
Mm,
definitely true.
and
Like in my pre-human design days when I like did not embrace myself or understand myself and I was just a big mess. Like it inspires the opposite, like you become repellent. I definitely was repellent in some of my days. So the more we can like heal ourselves and like be who we are, then like it does like magnetize others to us. It does inspire other people to do the same, it encourages
absolutely,
in
it
that way.
provides direction for the rest of humanity. The G center is directing humanity towards love and beauty. I mean, that's a fact. So the salty screen says, what are some good deconditioning practices for these blocks? And as always, it's going to be understand and follow your strategy and authority. The defined G center, some of the blocks would be not accepting that what's the scoop with you, not accepting that it's good enough when you're clearly in the right place. Um, can you think of any, Moni?
Some deconditioning for
Yep.
the defined identity?
Deconditioning tips for some of these roadblocks is what Salty Screen asked.
Yeah, the thing that's really coming through is, like, taking care of ourselves and our body, It's like the identity center is linked with the liver, and so it's just like, how healthy are our bodies? How healthy are our livers that are, like, cleaning our bodies so we can actually be who we are? So it's just, like, taking care of ourselves, loving ourselves, and, like, honoring our own needs and, like, when we need to, like, rest and take care of ourselves or when it's time to go out and maybe when it's not time to go out. I think, like, first and foremost is just like, hey, like, accepting the body that you have. It's not gonna change, and you can try to fight it all you like, but, like, you got the body you got. And to get to that point, baby stepping your way into accepting it and then loving yourself. And I think for defined or undefined, like that's going to shine through a lot. You know, it's like you can't change anything you hate. And I think by loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves, that puts us in like a primo position.
I got one. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And I'll say this probably plenty of times because you do already love yourself, salty screen, and you have actually no blocks, your true self, your not self has blocks. Um, and because everything's actually great with you, even if you find that hard to believe at the moment, start telling yourself what Moni was saying. I love this body I'm in. I love me. I love doing the thing. And say the words out loud, especially if you don't believe it,
Hmm.
because it's true. The thing you don't believe is who you're not. As I hope that doesn't sound confusing, but it's true. So say it and then say it with some gusto, especially if you're especially if you don't believe it. What do you think of that? I think that's great.
Oh, I think that's, like, huge. It's like, you don't appreciate breathing until you have a really bad cold and then you can't breathe through your nose and you're just like, "Oh my god, I hate this. This is horrible," right? And then, like, the day you can breathe again, you're like, "This is the best day ever," until it just becomes your norm, you know? Or it's like if you sprain your ankle and you gotta, like, limp around, like, that's when you appreciate that you can walk, right? So it's like, think of those times when you didn't have XYZ ability, when you weren't feeling well, and then like
Mhm.
appreciate yourself every single time that like wow, my body's walking, I'm moving around, I could live and I can love and I can connect with other people and I can do all these amazing things. Like, don't compare yourself to others. Like, you don't want somebody else's life, you know, like you don't know what they're going through, and just comparison is always the thief of joy. And so only you can be you, you know, you're once in a lifetime cosmic event. So I don't know, appreciate it, because it's no use not liking yourself. It
Yeah,
doesn't get
no,
you anywhere. Like, it's just gonna take you to worse places.
it's absolutely true. External validation craves external approval for successes and self-worth. It is definitely trying to do that. Uncertain about their true life's purpose. Yeah, and where they're headed. Absolutely. Um, love seeking identity. So love seeking. As soon as you're seeking, this is a thing. And that's it ends up being as soon as you're seeking, you're not finding.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, defines themselves by seeking external love and acceptance. Remember, you love you first. Try this one on. And say this to yourself, I love you, but I love me more, and that's perfectly healthy.
Inauthentic labels adopts identities based on others' expectations, trying to be someone for somebody else, to be part of a community, or to be maybe if I act this way, I can be hanging out with these people. Conditional success, viewing success as a means to gain approval. Again, that acceptance to be part of something, to like be connected with people. Low self esteem, struggling with self love and positive self image, right? It's the looking at somebody else's, like the grass is always greener, right? And identity crisis, being uncertain about their core identity, because that energy is inconsistent. It's coming and it's going, and you're feeling how other people are living and feeling how other people are loving. So when that's undefined, they can feel like it's not there all the time, therefore something's wrong. When it's like, nah, you're here to like taste how everyone's living and loving. Like, you're here for the buffet option.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's actually good stuff.
Oh yeah, the
Cool.
undefined identity people I know, like they travel to all the coolest places. Undefined identity people
Well, they
like have
do,
been all over the world.
and it's fine that they do that. They're supposed to do that. What they're
Yeah.
supposed to be looking for, if you're undefined, is a deep sense that you're in the right place. And that's moment to moment, and it's in long stretches of time, and a deep sense that you're aware basically that what the G center does. I mean, let's take step back a few thousand feet and look at this thing. And the G center, what's its real purpose? It's our identity is our love and direction. That's the thing. This feeds into, and what's in the G center. You got the vessel of love, which houses most of the bottom gates, and then you've got the Sphinx. It's the only center that has two crosses where it has all the gates of the crosses. And these something else about the G center. If you look around the wheel's got 64 gates in it, and the G center is the actual center of the body graph and the center of the wheel itself, because every 8 gates changes a new gate along the G center. It just goes right around the G center, and every 8 gates it changes straight up even. So it basically holds down a clock
Hmm.
where the vessel of love is all the celebrated solstice, equinox,
Yeah.
autumn, spring, summer, winter. That's the vessel falls on those, and the Sphinx falls in between, keeping the direction going. They would be the interim, the interregnums between these two things that olden day used to, when our hands were on the farm and stuff, we would pay attention to them. Now that we're all in cities and stuff, it's fallen by the wayside, but we used to celebrate the middle times as well, right? And so this proved that there was a direction. Hey, we're all headed this way towards the bounty. We're all headed this way. And it had to have beauty. It had to have love. It had to feel it was in the right place. It had to have communion with the other. It had to bring along everyone else so that we could feel empowered. I mean, the G center is loaded with individual gates, and a gate that points at the ego, which is still individual, and collective gates. So it's a sharing self-love machine. This
Hmm.
is what it is, and it's a sharing I love you machine, as long as people don't take that too personally, you know what I mean? Oh, they love me. Well, yes, of course I love you. I'm not ready to get married or anything, but um, the two different things. And so if you're looking for love and you think you're looking for it, understand I said you think for a reason. That is who you're not, no matter how desperate it feels. Cool. That's the G center. Where you're open is where you get wisdom. It's just period. It's where we go to school. It's where we get intelligent. I may not know the right place, and I may be able to, as a defined G center, and you too, Moni, we may be able to suffer in some crappy place because, whatever will live. It's your job to say, oh, no, no, you don't have to do that, and help us find the right place. If you're open, you're helping the world find the right place, move in the right direction, the whole 9 yards, and you're witnessing it, and you can move in any direction, and you can see which ones are adaptable and best for others in communion, worth being shared to empower the love of all things and the love of humanity's extremes, moving in a direction that is now or into the future or coming from the past. It's incredible. I bet you I read through most of these. So let me try this. Um, adapt. What is that? Adaptable chameleon. Yep. Uh, so shape shifts to be able to meet the needs of each situation where they're at. You know what I mean? Seeing where they're at so they can know that they need to go or not. Um, Self care is included. It prioritizes their own needs, although it's alongside, yeah, external expectations. So yeah, it absolutely would prioritize its own need. Present moment focus, thrives in the now, without needing, yeah, a grand plan. That's the whole thing. You don't actually need the grand plan. You just need to be in the right place. And you need to see that you're seeing that. And you need to not doubt the fact that you are the love of the direction. You don't need it. You are it. Open or defined. Just, keep that in mind.
Inherently lovable, already worthy of love just as they are. Environment matters, surroundings influence their magnetism. Yeah, like this is definitely an interesting thing with especially with like the undefined G people. It's like that's an awareness center. Like if you have an open undefined G center and you feel weird somewhere, like get out of Dodge. Like
Mhm.
just like trust yourself on that, and like that's an amazing awareness center. It's like you just said, like all the undefined centers and gates and channels in our chart, like that's where we can be wise. That's where we can learn about this energy in different ways. It's like if you have that undefined G center, like be smart about it, and like if you get that funny feeling, like get out of Dodge. And like the other thing with the undefined G center people is like so it's like where they're located, right, wherever in like a place or in a room, but also like moving furniture around and like finding where different things are located and
It's
what
true.
feels right in like
Yeah,
a feng shui kind of way. Like that's a
yeah.
really fun thing for, I mean, everybody, but especially with people with like an undefined G center. The next
Yeah,
one,
yeah, that was the magnetism. I mean, the environment matters. Yep, that's what you just pointed out. Um,
yeah,
Flexible. Go ahead.
flexible and unattached, adapts to situations and isn't defined by external roles. Self love and openness, embraces their true self and allows love to flow freely.
Flows freely. That's the thing. So, and that's open or defined, but and when it's open and undefined, this G center, this allowing it to flow freely, is your security that somewhere along the way you faked it till you made it.
Yeah, that's
Right?
everybody. You know,
Yeah,
it's like we're always going in a direction. You're going up or you're going down. Like that's just what life is. There's no coasting. Either you're making decisions that you're going up or you're making decisions that you're going down. So it's like have like a good intention and like start going in that direction and like yeah, fake it till you make it. Because you're gonna get somewhere either way. So you might as well have a good sense of like, you know what, like I want to go take positive steps and I'm gonna just take that smallest little one that I can and see where that takes me.
absolutely. Yep.
So, healing the undefined G center shadows, embracing my ever evolving self with love opens doors to opportunities without the pressure of a fixed identity.
Mm, yeah. So if you want to heal it, first of all, just realize there's nothing wrong with it in the first place. But if you want to see it and feel the healing, follow that advice.